Let's face it, guys, most people have no idea how to manage their finances. Add investments into the mix, and most people are making a mess of it and they are tripping over their own feet. Now, this is likely why 3/4 of those who start investing lose money in the first 2 years. But it doesn't have to be this way anymore, and I'm going to show you exactly how. Now, I've personally completely streamlined my portfolio and the way that I track and measure my portfolio, and I believe you should too. So welcome to this video, guys. My name is Money Coach Joe, and over the next few minutes in this video, I'm going to be going through a deep dive, rundown, review, and demonstration into my favorite new investment platform, Snowball Analytics. Now, I want to start by saying that simply calling Snowball a investing platform is really underselling it, because quite frankly, the level of information it provides you with, the data that it gives you, the insights it provides, and the time that it saves you is really quite staggering. But to be completely frank, the main reason that I and many other people and investors I know with huge portfolios are now using Snowball Analytics is because it is simplifying the way that you manage your investments and track your portfolio. And for someone like me who runs their own business, the biggest benefit of all is how much time it saves you. And I cannot tell you how grateful I am that I have now found this platform. And it also goes hand in hand with what I always say in much of my content across all of my pages, if you follow me on any of those or if you've watched any of my videos in the past, about how you should automate as much of the planning, management, tracking, and implementation of your investments and your overall financial plan. And the fact is that Snowball Analytics, the platform that you can see on the screen behind me, is doing this better, or allowing you to do this better than anything else out there. I'm going to explain a little bit more about why this is and why I love the platform so much, and then I'm going to dive into my screen share and give you a demonstration, show you how to get set up and how to be on your way with simplifying your investment journey. Just quickly though, if you haven't already, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the thumbs up if you find this helpful and you want to see more videos like this in the future to show you how to manage and invest your money to become financially free. Also, if you like what you see and you'd like to use Snowball Analytics yourself, there is a link in the description where you can sign up, you can get a discount and also a 14-day free trial, so there is nothing to lose. So as we know, investing over the last decade or so has become extremely accessible, and this is great, right? We've got so many options for what we can invest in now. You can buy stocks and shares, you can trade Forex, you can buy options, you can invest in real estate, you can invest in art and alternative assets, all from just an app on your phone. And whilst this is great because we've now got so many options to allow us to build wealth, unfortunately, when it comes to the non-professional investor, it's become increasingly complicated to be able to keep tabs on your portfolio as a whole, to understand where you're at in relation to the goal that you have set, if you've even planned that out, which most people haven't. So if you're anything like me, you probably have 4, 5, 6+ different apps, not for just buying stocks, but also investing in any other assets like funds or cryptocurrencies or alternative assets. And that's not mentioning the other apps that you use for research and studying different stocks and news articles and tracking stock prices and so on and so forth. In my case, I've got 5 different apps that I'm using simply for investing in different assets. So I've got my pension account with Aegon, I've got an ISA and a general investment account, but all with free trade. I've got my company dealing account with AJ Bell, I've got my crypto account with Coinbase, and I invest in art via Masterworks. And that isn't including the various apps I use for getting insights and updates on the positions that I'm invested in via Prospero or Seeking Alpha and so on and so forth. So as you can imagine, getting a clear snapshot of exactly what my entire portfolio looks like in one place is pretty much impossible. I used to spend 2 hours every single month updating a manual spreadsheet to compile all of the information from these 5 different investing platforms into one place so that I could get just a rough idea of where I was at in terms of my overall allocation and how that was split between different asset types, where I stood in terms of my overall profit or loss, and where I stood in terms of the larger goal that I wanted to achieve. Keeping on top of all of this stuff was driving me insane. Fortunately, I then came across Snowball Analytics, and now everything is automated. All I have to do is link my accounts, update my brokerage activity, and it takes care of everything for me. And that is just the tip of the iceberg of what Snowball Analytics can do for you. So without further ado, let's dive into the platform that I know you're dying to see on the screen behind me and show you how to get set up and get started. Hey guys, welcome into the Snowball dashboard. So obviously I have already set up my portfolio through this platform. So what I'm going to do is show you how to add your accounts. So once you log in, you'll be met with this screen. Now, obviously the overall net worth tab for you will probably be empty because you've not added anything yet. So adding an account is the first thing you want to do. What I've done and what I recommend people do is, rather than having all of my accounts in just one combined portfolio, I've set them up as different portfolios within Snowball, so that Snowball then takes like a snapshot of everything all together and groups it all into this My Net Worth tab. Obviously it's not my total net worth, and it'll be the same for you because it doesn't include my real estate or business assets yet, but it gives you a nice overview of what your total value of your non-physical investments like equities, crypto, ETFs, pension funds, etc., right? So it's really helpful for that. So first off, like I said, this will all be empty for you. To add a portfolio, it's nice and easy. You're going to click this button here. You're going to rename this to your portfolio. Maybe it's your IRA or your 401k or your taxable brokerage if you're in the US, your TFSA in Canada, or your RRSP in Canada, or your ISA or your taxable brokerage in the UK, or your SIP or your workplace pension, whatever it is, name it to what you want it to be called. So for this example, we'll go with brokerage. We're going to set the default currency to whatever you want it to be. In this case, I'm in the UK, so I'm going to go with pounds. Then you want to set the goal for your account. So you can set this up as what passive income you want to have if you're investing for dividends and passive income, or what you want the value of your portfolio to be. So for example, if you need a £1 million portfolio because you want a 40k income in retirement, then you can put 1 million into here and then click next. And then it's as simple as just connecting a brokerage account. So you will then click on connect your brokerage, and then you will be given a list of all the brokerages you can connect. These are the popular ones, so you can see Fidelity, Robinhood, Charles Schwab, Interactive Brokers, so on and so forth. You can also search for a brokerage, so you can look for Webull, for example, they're on there, or Trading 212 in the UK is another one. I personally use Free Trade. Let's see if they're on there. Yep, they are. So all you're going to do is you're going to select your brokerage. Let's assume you're with Fidelity. You're going to click continue, and then using their API, which is a posh way of saying how they interact with your brokerage account, you're then going to log in via this. So it's going to redirect you to the Fidelity page. You're going to input your username and your password. You're going to log in, and then it will ask you if you're happy to share your information with them. All it's going to share is the read information. It cannot write any information. What I mean by that is it can only look at what you are buying and selling and what your cash is in your account. They can't actually touch it or do anything with it. So they can't create new trades, execute trades, or do anything within your portfolio. It is purely just to read the information that is there, so that it can feed it into Snowball and use that data to help you see your portfolio from a holistic point of view. Now, I'm in one of the unique situations where my brokerage provider isn't actually fully integrated with Snowball yet. So if that is the case for you, I'm going to show you what to do in that case. For me, it's my ISA that I have with Free Trade that isn't linked yet. So if I just rename this to my ISA, I'm going to put it in UK pounds again. I'm going to set the target portfolio as 1 million again. I'm going to hit next, connect my brokerage account. I'm going to search for Free Trade, select that, and you can see that it's telling me to add a broker's report. Now this is as easy and as simple as going into your Free Trade account, going to your activity tab, going to the little download icon on the top right hand of the screen, and downloading your report, your activity feed. It's going to download as a CSV file, and then you're literally just going to drag and drop it. So I've already done this, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. This is my activity feed. I'm going to select that. So once it is uploaded, it's going to say that it's complete. Mine always tells me that there's a couple of problems detected, and this is because I was using Free Trade from the very, very early days. So there's a couple of instances where my sell orders just aren't being carried through for some reason. You probably won't have an issue like that, but I'll show you now what to do in that case. So once I do that, I hit complete. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my portfolio, my holdings, and you can see along here, it's going to just ask me to match the ticker symbol because it's not for some reason aligning with that investment. So I just need to search for the right ones, just match them So now FB is obviously Meta now, so that's probably why that's happened. You get the idea. It's nice and straightforward. And once that is done, you can see that I now have my ISA listed here. Now, I already actually had an ISA, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my portfolios and I'm going to delete this second one. So this will be handy for if you ever need to delete a portfolio. So I can tell that that one had a different goal, so that's one I just uploaded. So I'm going to delete that. Don't need the backup. I'm just going to delete it because I've already got my portfolio up. So you can see here I've got my net worth, my business account, my Coinbase account, my ISA, and my pension. So that is everything all in one place. Now, what I really love about Snowball Analytics, like I said earlier, is the level of data and information that it gives you. So you can see for your overall portfolio, and if you go to your My Net Worth tab where it combines everything in one place, you've got your portfolio breakdown here. So I can see that my portfolio is broken down by funds, individual stocks, and crypto. That's how I want to view my portfolio, and you can adjust this, which I'm going to explain how to do in just a minute. But if I wanted to see the breakdown of that 60% of my portfolio via those different funds, if I click on that part of the pie chart, it does the breakdown of what is making up the funds portion of my overall portfolio. So which funds make up that fund portion. If I go back to portfolio and I go to individual stocks, I can see that's 16% of my portfolio right now, and I can see which individual stocks make up the majority of my portfolio. So it's really, really nice to be able to see. Now, if you go back to portfolio, it takes it back to where you were. And like I said, with your categories, you can update those. If you go to portfolio categories, you can create categories from scratch with target allocations. What that means is you can set your allocations just like I've done here. You can see I've set my target allocation to 70% for funds, 20% for stocks, and 10% for cryptocurrencies. And then if you go outside of your allocation, it's going to alert you to that fact so you can see, and therefore you can make an informed decision about what to buy more of, what to maybe sell, or what to just continue holding whilst you make those other buying and selling decisions. If we go back to the dashboard, the other information you can see is your overall value, the total profit or loss in your portfolio, and the average return as well that you're getting, the internal rate of return, and any passive income. Now, I'm not a dividend investor, but it's still showing me that I have some dividends, but I'm not worried about that piece. The other information it provides you with is what is moving, your top daily gainers and your top daily losers. So this is nice to be able to see, to get information on what aspects of your portfolio are doing well and what aspects of your portfolio are doing not so well. It also shows you your recent and upcoming events as well, which is really handy for seeing earnings, so you can understand when each of the positions in your portfolio, if you're buying individual stocks, are due to report on earnings. So if you click on recent and upcoming events, it will take you to a calendar where you can see literally the day-by-day breakdown of what's happening in your portfolio via the current week, next week, and so on and so forth. If I go back, then I can go back to this piece and I can see when my dividends are due to pay out as well, which is a nice thing to be able to see. More on dividends later. If you're a dividend investor, you're going to love what I've got to share with you. You can also see future payments, dividends received, again, more on that later on, dividend growth, and also your goal. But before I get onto that, I want to show you this as well. So you can see the latest news and articles. This is really helpful because I was previously looking across multiple different platforms, just the general Apple Stocks app to see what the news articles were associated with each of my stocks. I have to go through each one of them separately, click on it, see what the news was, go to the next one, click on it, see what the news was, filter through to see whether it's positive or negative, and so on and so forth. What this does is it breaks it all down for you. You can see the latest news and articles for each and every stock or position you hold, and it will also tell you via these little green, yellow, or red bubbles whether it is mostly positive, mostly negative, or neutral. So that's really nice to see, because if you go to this and you see the full breakdown and most of the news is positive, then you know you're good. If most of the news is negative, then maybe it's an indication, most of the time it's going to be noise, but maybe it's an indication that you need to do a bit more research into that position you're holding to see if there's something you need to do about it. Now, back to the goal. What you can do with this goal is really, really amazing. I'm going to go into here and show you how it works. So for this portfolio, I've got a goal of hitting 1.4 million by 2035. So you can set this as either a value or passive income if you're a dividend investor. If you are investing for passive income, then obviously you need to change this to that annual passive income you would like to have. Mine is an overall portfolio value, and then you need to select your timeline from this drop down here. So you can just select and it will tell you in how many years that is, which is really helpful. And you can then put what your contributions are per month and then adjust your returns, set an inflation value, and so on and so forth. So you can see with the breakdown that it's done for me here, it's telling me with the blue line being my portfolio, that I will hit my goal in 2037 based on current annual returns and my contributions. You can see here it's got like a best case, worst case, and most likely as well. So your goal can be achieved in 12 years or by 2037. It's 2 years later than you've specified, or your goal can be achieved in 10 years with an alternative scenario. And that is basically increasing my contributions by 5.5% annually, gets me to my goal faster. So it's giving you kind of information on how to adjust your current plan to achieve the goal that you have, which is really, really helpful to see, because then you can determine if you can achieve that, and then you can update your actual contributions based on that fact. And then below here, it gives you a results table showing the breakdown of your estimated portfolio value by different years, so you can see the growth of your overall investment pot and when you're going to hit your goal, which is really, really cool. Now, like I mentioned at the start of this video, one of the main things that I really love about Snowball is it gives me the ability to see my portfolio allocation percentages and my split between different asset types all in one place, rather than taking everything from 5 or 6 different apps and putting it into one spreadsheet and having to update it manually every single month by each individual position. All I do now is link my accounts or upload my activity feed, just like I demonstrated a minute ago, and it works all of this stuff out for me, which is awesome. Now, I'm going to show you a few little tips and tricks on how to use this window. So we've gone over the portfolio breakdown pie chart here and how to select this to see how your overall portfolio breaks down into the different categories that you've set up. By going to portfolio and categories and editing the information on this page, you can change your categories here. You can see the funds that make things up. You can drag and drop stuff as you add new positions and it maybe gets categorized incorrectly. You can come into here, and if you just hold on the dots here, you can move these and drag them to the alternative asset category so that it is all up to date, and it takes a few seconds and then it snaps everything into place and it will update your overall allocation percentage for you as well. The next thing I want to show you is how to look at the performance of your portfolio. Now obviously we have selected, right now we are in the My Net Worth section of Snowball. If I go to Analytics and I go to Growth, this is showing me the overall performance of my entire portfolio. So all of the accounts that are listed under My Net Worth, which is really, really helpful to see, like I said at the beginning of this video, to get an overview of exactly how my entire portfolio is performing holistically. That's important for me to be able to see. I want to measure that against specific benchmarks such as the S&P 500. So I can see that my portfolio is ahead of the S&P 500 by 15.5% over the last year. If I go over the last 5 years, then it's telling me that I'm up 16.4% over the S&P 500. And over all time, let's see what this says, I'm up by 17%. So that's really, really important to see. If you want to add additional benchmarks, you can see how you're performing against the NASDAQ. You just select them from here. The FTSE 100, let's see how I'm doing against ARK, for example, so the Innovation Fund with Cathie Wood. And if I then just select off of this, once I've selected them, then it will update and snap into place, and it's telling me that my portfolio is beating all of these things by a very good margin. Not too bad for little old me. Now, if you want to see the same information, but for each individual account, then you just go to this drop down here, select the account that you want to see the performance for, and then you can see again, going back to just measuring against the S&P 500 benchmark, it's going to show me what my portfolio looks like. So you can see that this specific aspect of my overall portfolio, so my ISA, is up against the S&P 500 all time by 3.71%, which is great to see. And then you can see the breakdown by year, year to date, so on and so forth. To get all the information you want, again, to select a different benchmark to measure against, you can come into the benchmarking section, so search for the ticker you want to compare against or the specific fund that you want to compare against. Simply select it, take off the X, and it will show you how you've performed against that fund. Now this is amazing because it is all just giving you a plethora of information about anything you could want to know about your portfolio. The important thing though is to not get bogged down in all the details. I would recommend just signing up for an account, which you can do by just clicking the link below in the description, and just get set up Start uploading your portfolios, linking your accounts, and so on and so forth. Use the platform for what you need to use it for in a way that's going to benefit you, right? You don't need to log into this every single day and get torn up with all the information that's going on in here. But you can use it to help you, to inform you, to help you make informed decisions about your finances, set goals, track your progress against those goals, and just ensure that you stay on track and actually achieve them on time. And that's the power of this tool. It is unbelievable. The last thing I want to show you is the dividends tab. So if I go back to my overall portfolio, because I want to see all of those dividends that get paid out to my overall positions, still within the analytics section, instead of growth, we are going to dividends. And if you are a dividend investor, you need this tool. So from this part of the Snowball dashboard, you can see your overall yield. Again, I don't invest for dividends, so mine is going to look really bad, but if you do invest for dividends, hopefully you can see a very good yield here. You can also see your yield on cost, which is how much of a yield you're getting versus how much you actually paid for that stock, rather than just the general yield based on its current price. So that's really important to see. You can see the yield and payout for each of the positions that you own. So again, Legal & General is the highest paying position I have. They've got a dividend yield of 8.62%, but my yield on cost, because my cost average is lower than the current cost, is actually higher at 9.31% annualized, which is amazing. It's why I own that stock. And you can also see that breakdown for all of the dividend paying stocks that I personally own. You can also see the overall dividend payout on a yearly basis. So what is your annual dividend that you are earning, and how that breaks down into a monthly payout, and if that is up or down versus the previous year. So you can see that my dividend is £118.22 annually, which breaks down to £9.85 per month, and that is up 3.7% on last year. You can also see the dividend rating, and this is really important if you are a dividend investor, to see the overall rating of how reliable and safe that dividend is. So what it's going to tell you is the asset that is paying that dividend. So you can see, for example, let's just use NVIDIA as an example. So you can see it saying, this is the asset that you hold, this is the value that you have invested, your annual dividends are this much, and the dividend rating is 100. So it's scored out of 100, so 100 is obviously very reliable, and 1 is you probably shouldn't be investing in this, or you need to look into it and consider why it's a 1. And you can see it's listed from the highest reliability down to the lowest reliability. So why would Legal & General have this 41 rating if the dividend is so good? What it is saying is that the rating calculation is based on incomplete information. The company is likely to be doing a little better. We recommend that you check on this company on your own. So it's basically saying, do a bit of research, because we don't have all the information that we need. It's likely because it's a UK based stock. It's an insurance company. They don't report quarterly. They report every 6 months. They're also an older, more traditional institution. So it's probably just that Snowball can't get the information they need that they would normally be able to get from most other stocks. So it's basically just indicating that you need to do a bit of digging yourself. Moving on though, you're also going to be able to see your average annual dividend growth for each position that you hold. So I can see NVIDIA's annual growth of their dividend is 16%, Microsoft's is 9%, Apple's is 4.37%, and Legal & General is 4.25%. As a market, you want to be looking for the dividend keeping up with inflation, which all of these are doing there or thereabouts. You can also see future payments, which is nice to see. What I love about this though is you can go to the calendar and you can get a calendar view of every single dividend you are receiving. So if you're a strategic dividend investor and you're looking to get a payday every single month or every week or every 4 weeks or so on and so forth, then you can buy strategically to make sure that your dividends are falling within a certain period of time so that you're getting a regular future income. So I can go forward to the future months and see when I'm going to receive each dividend, which I think is absolutely awesome for any dividend investor out there. Going back to the dividend dashboard, you can see also dividends received historically, so you can see for maybe tax returns and so on and other reasons what you have received in the form of dividends historically, as well as the breakdown by individual stock, and also the growth of your dividends year by year and the monthly breakdown of those years. Ultimately, it's going to give you information here that you probably couldn't and wouldn't figure out on your own, and that's what I love about this platform. So if you're a dividend investor, you really need this platform. If you're any other kind of investor, you also really need this platform. Like I said, Snowball is doing all of this stuff better than literally anything else that I have seen. And I've looked for something like Snowball for a very long time, and also been approached by companies and platforms who are trying to do this kind of thing and just aren't quite up, well, nowhere near up to scratch compared to this. So I'm going to end the screen share here and let's summarize this platform. Okay, so what are my thoughts and feelings on Snowball Analytics? Well, in case you hadn't realized, I really like it. Why is that? It's because it's giving me a level of insight and control into my portfolio that I never had before, or that I had to try and string together from 4 or 5 different investing platforms, as well as 3 different news and insight apps, searching through the plethora of information to try and get the small information that's relevant to the stock that I own and the decision that I need to make. And I no longer need to do that, as I can track everything and get all the news and insights I need all in one place. How's it going to help you? Well, other than all of the reasons that I've already given, it's going to give you information and data on your investments and your portfolio. And it's going to allow you to make more informed, data-driven decisions about what to do with your investments and your portfolio. And when you make a data-driven, informed decision, that is likely to be a better decision than just winging it. It's also going to help you map out your goal in that goal section that we went through as well, so that you can determine a clearly defined end goal that you want to work towards and see what you need to do to get on track with actually achieving that goal in a realistic timeline. This is something that most people have never sat down to do, and it's the reason that they often don't stay consistent or committed to an investment plan, because they have no actual plan for achieving a specific goal. They're just investing and hoping for the best. And if you have an end goal, a plan, and a portfolio to achieve that plan, then a tool like this is going to help you see if you are on track and to show you if, how, and when you need to pivot to get back on track if you are off track. Ultimately, you'll hear me say this a million times, but what gets measured gets managed. Now, there is a bunch more stuff inside Snowball that I would love to go over with you today, but quite honestly, the video would end up being about 4 hours long. So the best thing you can do is go sign up using the link in the description now, link your first few accounts, start using it, start recategorizing your portfolio, and just give it a go. Ultimately, it's going to help you build, manage, and track your portfolio better than you've ever done so before. And you're also going to get a free trial and a discount when you do sign up with the link in the description. Now, if you found this video helpful or insightful in any way, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button. That really helps out the channel. Also, if you could subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future updates or overviews and reviews like this in the future. And if you think this video could benefit anyone else, then don't forget to share it with any friends or family you believe could also benefit from using Snowball Analytics. And lastly, if you have any questions on Snowball or anything else related to personal finance or investing, then please drop those in the comments below and I'll reply to every single one of you. Until the next one, take care, guys.